Ahava, blessings and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to be talking about divine feminine leadership, and I'm here sitting in my port in sunny Spain in Madrid, and you can hear the sound of insects, you maybe can hear voices, you may hear the train, and this is part of the teaching because actually divine feminine leadership asks us to be in community and in reconnection with nature. Now, I have a whole chapter of this in my book, Conversations with Mary Magdalene, that came out on June 26, 2020. And the divine feminine leadership is something that we're called to express, to deliver, to investigate, to awaken, especially in these times of change. We know that we are in this Aquarian age, this golden age. But when we think of divine feminine leadership, we automatically think of women, right? And this isn't just for women. This is for women and for men. And I just want to make sure that we understand that when I talk about divine feminine leadership, I'm not really talking about how to lead spiritually, because all of us are spiritual. Some of us just don't know it, okay? But we're all spiritual because we are a spirit in a body. And so in the practices that we learn from Mary Magdalene, there is no separation between spirit and matter. It is unity, it is hieros gamos, it is sacred marriage. So to really awaken a divine feminine leadership has to do with a reconnection to the source of the divine. That's very important what I'm saying right now, because it's not just about being aware, because this is important when we include the feminine leadership qualities. And I'm going to read something here in my book about that I had in this chapter, just so you can understand. It says, male energy is assertive and active. He wants to explore new territories and uses force, positively or negatively, to achieve his wishes. Our masculine nature is the part of us that wants to separate and establish an individualized self and resist being homogenized or absorbed. In male leadership, energy tends to appear ascending more than asking and projecting towards a goal rather than being in reception. The feminine energy is receptive, nourishing, magnetic, and mysterious. She creates an environment of unity and inclusion, finding joy in how we are all equal and can work together. Women's leadership is the strength of a tree, deeply rooted and flexible enough to bend but not break from powerful gusts of wind. In feminine leadership, strength need not be shown because there is an inherent assurance that we are all sustained and loved. We are sure of our internal power. And I really want to read this sentence again. This is very important. In feminine leadership, strength need not be shown because there is an inherent assurance that we are all sustained and loved. We are sure of our internal power. Wow. Could you imagine being assured and being sure of our internal power so that we don't have to be afraid of what others have? We don't have to be afraid of not having. This is powerful. And this is the divine feminine leadership connection. It is a connection with the assurance that we are always sustained by the mother. So there is a relationship with the divine. And in this relationship with the divine, everything is delivered. We know that we have everything. It's just about creating things. It's about taking action. So I'm just going to separate a little bit right now, even though I don't like that word, but the feminine leadership qualities are about interconnection, inclusiveness, community, I don't want to use the word matriarchy, but it is more matriarchal. It's circular. No, so that means that there is a guide, there is a leader, but the feminine leadership loves to co-create with the community and listens to the community. But we also need the male as well. And the male is about taking decisions. It's about being proactive. It's about having an intention and objective. It's active, whereas the feminine leadership is a lot more receptive. So this is important. Although right now we do need an awakening of the feminine leadership qualities. Okay, we do need that. And why? Because that way both will be balanced. To balance anything, we need to always connect with the feminine. If you feel burnt out, you need to rest. No? And if you feel like you're screaming too much or stressed out or angry, you need to calm down. So everything is always balanced by the feminine. Why? Because that's where we come from. We come from the womb. So anytime you're looking to solve something or to come into peace or to heal, go back to your feminine energy. So we need these feminine leadership qualities, very important, to equal and to balance out the masculine leadership qualities. But the divine feminine leadership is something totally different, because the divine feminine leadership believes in divine intervention. In my book, I talk about the prophetess Deborah and how she leads the Hebrew army because they were being bullied. I'm not going to go into that right now because it's a whole chapter. But I am going to go into just a moment where she has 10,000 men behind her. And she is leading the army because Barak, the Hebrew leader of the army, asked her to lead the army. And she's in the front. And she's not telling them to attack. She's actually saying, wait, just wait. And when I say go, go. So they were waiting and they were waiting and they were waiting. And then when she says go, they started advancing. And Sisera's army, which was on the other side, they were very powerful. All of a sudden, they had to cross this river and there was a big flood. And they all drowned. Wow. I mean, if we look at this as a metaphor, to be in divine feminine leadership is to be, and I'll say it again, into interconnectedness and a relationship with the divine. And this is something that we can start to cultivate right now. Why? Because all of us are leaders. All of us are leaders of our family, of our communities, of our jobs, of our workspace. It doesn't really matter. Because a leader is a person who helps another person shine. That is the definition of a leader, to bring out the light in another person. But now we're going towards an age, or we're just here already actually, and what we want to do is really connect with our inner light, and that has to do with a relationship that we're always cultivating within ourselves and with everyone else, and with the Mother Father, with the Magdalene Flame. And once that happens, it's so much easier to be a leader. Why? Because we trust. We know ourselves. We're not afraid. We're not afraid of anyone taking anything from us. We're not afraid of not having. We're not afraid of being ourselves. We're not afraid of bringing something new to the universe, to humanity, to our community. We're not afraid to share our ideas. And this happens when we have this inherent knowledge that we are whole. And that comes from this beautiful relationship that we can have with the mother. And I say the mother because remember that there is mother father. We know that. It is oneness, non-gender. But when the father or the mother father wants to express himself, herself, usually she comes as a feminine energy. She comes as Shakti. She comes as Fatima, the Virgin of Fatima. All of these different emanations of the divine feminine, they come and they give us a message. So if we cultivate this relationship with the mother, with the divine mother, we know that we have everything. We know that our needs are taken care of. And when we have that feeling, the only thing that is awakened is the feminine heart. So it is a lot easier to be in relationship, an equal relationship with everyone else. So I hope that this little lecture served you, and I would love to know what your ideas are on. I mean, this is a very, very profound topic, and I think we're being called to be leaders one way or another, and it's important to balance out the roles of the feminine leadership qualities with the masculine leadership qualities, and at the same time start to awaken and incarnate and bring down the divine feminine leadership. And that divine feminine leadership is our connection as a humanity, as a collective, to the Divine Mother, where she is guiding us. She is telling us you don't have to kill because something, if in the balance of the universe there is a justice, and I will help you. This is what she does. She intervenes always when we need it, and we need to start trusting. We need to start going back into nature. We need to start building communities. We need to start co-creating together. Why? Because we have so many brilliant ideas, each and one of us. And when we bring them together, imagine how many more brilliant ideas to create and co-create. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a beautiful and glorious day. Ahava.